You can't deny this. I'd like to run this piece of footage if we could right now.
Oh, Lawler shoved into the referee by Don Bass. Jerry Calhoun is down. Jerry Lawler back up on his feet. He's got Don Bass in the corner.
Referee still down. Brickhouse Brown ought to be in. Well, the referee's not up.
Referee's down. You got to have a disqualification here. Brickhouse.
Okay. Now, Brickhouse, what do you got to say about that? What was your thinking in that? I mean, I'm out here having a title match with Don Bass. I mean, was this your idea of you thought you were going to help him win the title or something like that? You thought you'd get away with that?
No, first of all, let me tell you something.
Well, I don't know if you might ask me something. I don't think you could tell me anything.
First of all, you owe me an apology for hanging around in this studio to come on this show.
You owe me nothing. I owe you an apology. Well, I hope you're not going to stand there and wait for it, because if you do, it's going to be a pretty boring segment.
See, you put your hands on me, Jerry Lawler. Nobody never, ever touch me unless I want them to. And I'm talking about a young, lovely tenderoni. And you don't look anything like lovely. So you put your hands on me, I'll take it into my own hands. I'm not going to the president. I'm not going to the AWA. I do what I see fit to do, what I do best. And that's take people's head off, and you know what I'm talking about.
I want to ask you about your referee position. Now, you came out on television. You claimed that somebody came to you and said that they didn't want you to wrestle anymore, that they wanted you to be a referee. Is that what you're claiming to be?
Well, don't act like you have amnesia. You know what's going on. You probably was the main one behind the conspiracy to get me out of here as a referee.
Oh, I'm sure you had big
conspiracy. Yeah, because you remember when I came here in '84, yeah, I was young and upstart then, but I was impressive then. And since I came back, you know that I've been all over the world in every major arena, thumping, bumping, stumping people at will. So when I got here, you knew that you was the king of the mountain and I can topple you off. So you had your clout pull to cut me out of wrestling and put a referee shirt on me.
I don't even remember when you came here. I don't even remember seeing you wrestle. All I can remember is the first thing I remember about you is seeing you referee the Southern Tag Team Tournament down at the Coliseum. And in my opinion, you're the jerk that cost Dundee and I the Southern Tag Team titles. That's all I know by your horrible refereeing down there.
So what I set out to do was right. I got your attention, didn't I?
Oh, so now you're admitting that that's what you did, that you were doing.
See, I got your attention because I felt like you was behind the conspiracy. You and every other wrestler around here that didn't want to see me, because you know without a doubt, Jerry Lawler, I'm your worst nightmare.
No. You're going to find out what a nightmare is like come tomorrow night. As I said, you know, what you need to do is you need to give a little phone call to Austin Idol. You need to find out what happened to Tommy Rich, and you need to find out what happened to Paul Dangerly. And you need to check on these people, because that's exactly what can happen to you. Hello?
Let me just say one thing, Jerry Lawler. You don't impress me. You might impress all these people out here, because all of them are, like I said, a bunch of hillbillies. But let me tell you something right now. You don't impress me, you understand? You impress me in the ring. You done took everybody else out that you came against, true enough, but you ain't never took me out.
Well, that's right. You, young lady right here said you hadn't been up against me. We'll find out who takes who out tomorrow night at the Coliseum. What I'd like to do right now, if there are any people here in the audience, you know, you had some pretty disparaging remarks to say about these people, but there's a fine audience here today, and they've got some questions that they would like to ask. You want to ask? You're going to ask the first? What's your name? Tim, go ahead. You got a question for Brickhouse Brown?
Brickhouse, I've seen you wrestle before, and I know you're a fairly decent wrestler. But, you know, I still kind of find it hard to believe why your attitude has changed, because I didn't ever see Lawler do anything to you. I mean, you just, out of the blue, changed your attitude. And
First of all, who made you an expert to call me a fairly decent wrestler? Let me tell you something right now. Fairly decent, brother, I have been all over the world, and Jerry Lawler knows it. All the other people around here know it. You've seen me in other places. You admit it to yourself. And you know I'm better than fairly decent. I'm a superstar.
What about right down here? What's your name, young man?
Michael Hardiman.
All right, Michael, what's your question?
Do you really think that you could trust a jerk like Austin Idol?
Let me tell you something. I reached out my hand to Austin Idol, and he promised me one thing. I said, look, All I want to do is just get a piece of Jerry Lawler. You handle up on Bill the Jerk Dundee. Let me have King Redneck. Austin Idol promised me that.
Superstore.
Well, you know, he brought up a good point there. I don't know if you happened to see the film yesterday of Austin Idol deserting his manager, Paul Dangerly, right there in the ring. Now, that's his big buddy. That's his big pal. That's his manager. If he'll walk out on him, what do you think he'll do to you?
Well, first of all, I'm not Paul Dangerly. I can handle my end of the load. You understand? He won't have to walk anywhere. We'll do the walking together when we leave you land.
Well, as I said, that's why they got wrestling matches, and that's why we're going to have one tomorrow night. And we'll just see if you're more than fairly decent, because I think I have to agree with Tim over there. I think that's all you are, and I'm going to prove it to you tomorrow night.
Well, let me tell you something. You got to bring some to get some.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we just happen to have, and I really hate to do this, but just for being on the show, we ordinarily, as everybody knows, our guests get these fine gifts, and Brickhouse is going to be no exception. From the fine people over at Nike, here's a tote bag full of all sorts of just nice things in there. I just happened to be going through there a minute ago. There's a baseball that I would like to beamed him with there. You're going to need this Monday night. Some headache pain relievers there from the people at Goodies and from the people at Bad Influence. This color fits you nicely, too. There. Sent you over a T-shirt. You can have that. And also from the fine people at Alfred's down on Beale Street. There's a gift certificate good for lunch for two. So now you won't have to wash dishes afterwards to pay for your lunch. Brickhouse Brown on the show there. We'll see him tomorrow night. Thank you for being here, Brickhouse, and we want to thank you for being here, and we're going to be right back with more of the show after these words.